Is the health of Tyrese Haliburton. With just under 7 minutes left in the first quarter of last night's game, as you can see here, he appeared to tweak the right leg injury that's been bothering him since Game 2. Now,
Tyrese Haliburton has just suffered a downfall that defies belief, and what's been exposed has left NBA observers across the country absolutely stunned. The Indiana Pacers star stands as one of the most dynamic playmakers in professional basketball, making his recent injury catastrophe particularly devastating to witness. The revelation involves not only his catastrophic calf strain during the NBA Finals, but also the complete destruction of his championship hopes, prompting the entire basketball community to finally acknowledge this systematic failure after witnessing one of the most crushing injury setbacks in Finals history. The context begins during Game 5 of the NBA Finals against the Oklahoma City Thunder, where Haliburton was expected to lead the Pacers' championship pursuit at Paycom Center in Oklahoma City. The All-Star guard recently faced the reality of suffering a right calf strain without contact and announced his intention to undergo an MRI to determine injury severity despite his team's desperate championship situation. This inflammatory injury escalated consequences, particularly when Haliburton appeared to get hurt while driving to the basket in the first quarter and briefly exited to the locker room before returning with visible discomfort. The NBA world has been following Haliburton's playoff brilliance for an extended period, recognizing what his leadership represents for the Pacers' unprecedented finals appearance. Haliburton has been key to the Pacers' unlikely deep playoff run, including multiple last-second shots throughout the postseason and the game winner in Game 1 of the finals, raising fundamental questions about championship destiny. Who exactly overcomes devastating injuries during the sport's biggest stage? The organization wants to ensure fans understand that even all-star caliber players face physical limitations through deliberate medical evaluation and strategic decision-making. The injury situation provides crucial context because Haliburton's calf strain cannot be viewed as simple minor setback or manageable discomfort. Haliburton serves as the heartbeat of Indiana's championship quest, implementing elite playmaking ability alongside clutch performance delivery that transforms role players into championship contributors. The guard designed his approach, encompassing 9.1 assists per game during the playoffs, 46.3% field goal shooting, and multiple game-winning performances that established him as the franchise's most important player during their historic postseason run. But wait, there is more. ESPN's Shams Charania recently revealed the medical assessment timeline in a particularly significant report that exposed the severity of Haliburton's condition. Indiana Pacers point guard Tyrese Haliburton is believed to have suffered a right calf strain and will undergo an MRI to discover the severity. This comprehensive medical evaluation will determine both his immediate availability and long-term championship prospects. This systematic injury assessment exposes the Pacers' desperate situation, acknowledge their star players' physical limitations, evaluate medical options through advanced imaging, and maintain championship pursuit despite devastating setback, ultimately allowing Indiana to determine whether their finals hopes remain viable or face inevitable elimination. The performance decline during Game 5 demonstrates the devastating impact of Haliburton's injury on both individual statistics and team success. Despite logging 34 minutes, Haliburton struggled mightily, going 0 for 6 from the field and finishing with 4 points, 7 rebounds, and 6 assists, representing his most underwhelming performance of the 2024-25 postseason. The Thunder defeated the Pacers 120-109 to take a 3-2 series lead, moving within one win of an NBA championship. The visible injury management throughout Game 5 reveals the extent of Haliburton's physical compromise. He returned to the bench in the second quarter with his calf wrapped, but eventually removed the wrap and played through the discomfort, demonstrating both his competitive determination and the injury's persistent impact on his mobility and effectiveness. The statistical context emphasizes how dramatically the injury affected Haliburton's typically elite performance. Through 21 playoff games, Haliburton averaged 17.9 points, 9.1 assists, 5.8 rebounds, and 1.3 steals, while shooting 46.3% from the field and 32.4% from three. His finals averages of 15.0 points, 6.2 rebounds, 7.2 assists per game, with 45.3% field goal shooting represents solid production until the Game 5 collapse. The championship timeline creates maximum pressure for Haliburton's recovery and return. Indiana now faces elimination and must win Games 6 and 7 to claim the title, with Game 6 tipping off Thursday in Indianapolis. The home court advantage provides optimal conditions for Haliburton's potential return, but his physical limitations could negate any environmental benefits. The competitive disadvantage facing Indiana without their star player extends beyond individual statistics to systematic team functionality. If Haliburton is limited or unavailable, the Pacers will be at a serious disadvantage against a Thunder squad that finished with the league's best record, 68-14, and has consistently dominated both ends of the floor throughout the playoffs. The mental toughness demonstration shows Haliburton's championship mindset despite devastating physical setback. It's the NBA Finals. It's the finals, man. I've worked my whole life to be here, and I want to be out there to compete, help my teammates any way I can, Haliburton declared after Game 5's disappointing performance. The competitive determination extends beyond simple desire to play through pain toward fundamental championship commitment. I was not great tonight by any means, but it's not really a thought of mine to not play here. If I can walk, then I want to play, Haliburton explained, emphasizing his willingness to sacrifice individual comfort for team success. The historical context makes Haliburton's injury particularly cruel given Indiana's unexpected championship opportunity. The Pacers' unlikely deep playoff run represents the franchise's best championship chance in decades, making any limitation to their star player exponentially more devastating than during a typical season. The clutch performance legacy creates additional emotional weight regarding Haliburton's injury impact. He's delivered multiple clutch performances to lift the Pacers throughout the playoffs, including crucial game-winning shots that established his reputation as a championship-caliber performer under maximum pressure. The medical uncertainty timeline creates mounting pressure as the series approaches its conclusion. The MRI results will determine not only his immediate availability, but also shape the team's strategy moving forward, forcing Indiana to prepare contingency plans while hoping for positive medical news. The season statistics demonstrate the consistent excellence that makes Haliburton's injury so devastating for Indiana's championship hopes. Through 73 regular season games, he averaged 18.6 points, 9.2 assists, 3.5 rebounds, and 1.4 steals while shooting 47.3% from the field, 38.8% from three, and 85.1% from the free throw line. The Olympic and All-Star recognition emphasizes Haliburton's elite status within professional basketball. The Olympian and two-time All-Star represents not just individual excellence, but international recognition of his exceptional abilities, making his finals injury particularly significant for global basketball audiences. The franchise pressure extends beyond individual player concerns to organizational championship legacy. Indiana's championship aspirations hinge on Haliburton's resilience and the effectiveness of his recovery process, creating systematic pressure throughout the organization to support their star players' return. The support system requirements become crucial for Haliburton's potential finals return. The focus will be on Haliburton's rehabilitation and the support he receives from his teammates and coaching staff, determining whether Indiana can maintain championship-level performance despite their star players' physical limitations. The elimination game pressure creates maximum stakes for Haliburton's medical decision-making. Facing elimination and needing consecutive victories transforms every medical choice into potential championship consequences, forcing careful balance between immediate competitive needs and long-term health considerations. The championship legacy implications extend beyond immediate finals results to career-defining moments. Haliburton's ability to overcome this injury could define not only his career, but also the legacy of the Pacers in this playoff run, making his recovery and return one of the most significant storylines in NBA Finals history. The resilience test facing Haliburton represents the ultimate professional challenge where physical limitations meet championship dreams, determining whether mental toughness can overcome devastating injury setbacks during basketball's most important moments. The NBA world exploded this weekend when insider reports confirmed what everyone suspected. Kevin Durant wants out of Phoenix. But here's the kicker. The Suns aren't playing ball with his demands. ESPN's Shams Charania said that Durant has compiled a 3-team wish list. The Miami Heat, San Antonio Spurs, and Houston Rockets top his preferred destinations. These teams commit to offering him a 2-year extension worth over $100 million combined. What's driving Durant absolutely insane? The Suns front office just delivered a brutal reality check to their superstar. Phoenix management made their position crystal clear. They told 6 to 8 seriously interested teams they will make the best deal for the franchise, even outside Durant's preferred list. Translation: your feelings don't matter, Kevin. The organization surrendered a staggering haul to acquire Durant from Brooklyn in February 2023. They won't repeat that mistake by accepting scraps in return. Durant's trade value faces complications due to his age and contract situation. He carries a $54.7 million expiring deal for the 2025 to 2026 season. Teams trading for him risk losing him to free agency if he decides to bolt. That uncertainty limits Phoenix's leverage, but they're standing firm. Sources say the Suns, meanwhile, are not promising to send Durant to any of those destinations. Mark Stein reported. They are open to a mutually beneficial trade to the Spurs, Rockets, or Heat if they end up liking the return, but it appears that Phoenix is prepared to make the best deal it can. Durant doesn't possess a no-trade clause in his contract. The Suns hold all the cards here. Let's break down why each of Durant's chosen teams presents problems for Phoenix. Miami offers Durant appealing lifestyle perks. No state income tax and year-round sunshine sound nice for a 36-year-old looking at his final contracts. But the Heat lack the assets Phoenix craves. Miami was hesitant about parting with rookie big man Kel Elware and Jamie Jaquez Jr. during trade deadline negotiations. These players represent the Heat's most valuable young assets. If they won't include them for Durant, what exactly are they offering? The Heat have a Jimmy Butler-sized hole in their near-future plans. Adding another aging superstar in Durant might not solve their fundamental roster construction issues. San Antonio could theoretically offer Devin Vassell, Jeremy Sochan, and Harrison Barnes, along with the number 14 pick. But this package doesn't move the needle for Phoenix's championship aspirations. The Spurs built their roster around 21-year-old Victor Wembanyama's timeline. They already added significant talent around the French phenom. Their backcourt features All-Star De'Aaron Fox and Rookie of the Year Stephon Castle. Trading the number 2 pick for an established wing like Durant loomed as a possibility all season. However, all signs indicate San Antonio intends to hold the selection and keep it out of trade discussions. Duke's Cooper Flagg goes first to Dallas, positioning Rutgers' Dylan Harper to land with the Spurs. Players like Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson, and Harrison Barnes don't truly move the needle, sources revealed about Phoenix's evaluation of San Antonio's assets. The Spurs possess 13 first-round picks through 2032. They're well-positioned for a timeline-altering move with young talent, clean cap space, and roster flexibility. But trading young players for 36-year-old Durant contradicts their long-term building strategy. Houston emerges as Durant's most realistic destination. They went 52-30 this season with a core mixing younger players and veterans. The Rockets have young talent and draft capital, making them perhaps the ideal trade partner. A hypothetical trade works financially. Durant for Jalen Green, Jabari Smith Jr., and Jock Landale. This package addresses Phoenix's need for young talent while giving Houston their go-to scorer. Durant's acquisition would solve Houston's offensive issues exposed during their first-round playoff loss to Golden State. Half-court efficiency, spacing concerns, and lack of a reliable closer all plague the Rockets. Durant's presence combined with Ime Udoka's defense creates a recipe for a Western Conference Finals run. But here's the problem. Houston doesn't want to break up their depth, even for a future Hall of Famer. The Rockets have been in contact with Phoenix for over a year concerning Durant. At different points, Phoenix sought multiple young talents like Alperen Şengün and Jalen Green. Recently, Jabari Smith Jr.'s name surfaced in connection with the Suns' interest. Jalen Green, whose name connects to Durant and other stars in trade rumors, wants to stay in Houston. He's determined to improve upon his playoff struggles. The Rockets largely remain uninterested in breaking up their core. Their most pressing internal need was re-signing veteran center Steven Adams to an extension, completed over the weekend. hammering out Fred VanVleet's future represents a mere formality. Former NBA MVP and Phoenix Suns legend Charles Barkley offered blunt advice for his former team amid Durant's trade saga. Barkley has had his differences with Durant in the past. "You make the best deal for him," Barkley said. "Don't worry about his feelings and make the best deal for yourself. Some people are going to take a chance on him, and some people are not because he only has 1 year left and he's 36 inches tall." Barkley's words perfectly capture Phoenix's current approach. The organization prioritizes maximizing their return over accommodating Durant's preferences. Minnesota emerged as another potential destination, creating buzz around a possible Anthony Edwards-Kevin Durant reunion. The two won gold at the 2024 Olympics on Team USA and developed a close relationship. "I miss being around Ant every day," Durant told the Star Tribune in October. Edwards reveres Durant as his favorite player growing up. The entertainment factor of that big brother-little brother dynamic would be off the charts. But the Minnesota Star Tribune confirmed a trade remains unlikely. The Timberwolves face significant obstacles. They're currently a second apron team with severe trade restrictions. They cannot combine players to aggregate salaries to match Durant's $54.7 million number. Julius Randle and Naz Reid both have player options, creating roster uncertainty. Reid planned to opt out and become a free agent. Randle's plans remain unclear. Until Minnesota knows what happens with those two, pulling off a deal becomes extremely difficult. The Wolves are not including Jaden McDaniels in any Durant trade talks. That means Julius Randle or Rudy Gobert would serve as the primary salary matcher. Randle carries a $31 million player option. Gobert makes $35 million. Both veterans contributed significantly to Minnesota's Western Conference Finals run. Including either would sting. The Wolves would also need additional salary, such as Donte DiVincenzo's $12 million to bridge the gap. Phoenix would likely want promising young players and draft pick compensation. Minnesota has Rob Dillingham, Terrence Shannon Jr., and Jalen Clark among prospects outside their top 8 rotation. They own the 17th pick in this month's draft. Are you into reading tea leaves? Gobert posted on X this week saying, "To be continued," with wolf and trophy emojis. If the Timberwolves pursue Durant, they'd need a handshake agreement with Phoenix in the next 2 weeks, then wait until July 6th when the new league year begins. At that point, they won't be a second apron team, making deal-making easier. The Los Angeles Lakers' involvement adds another twist to Durant's saga. This situation echoes the Boston Celtics' Drew Holiday heist after the Damian Lillard trade, which helped them secure Banner 18. Boston flipped Malcolm Brogdon, Robert Williams III, and 2 first-round picks to grab Holiday. That chess move proved championship-defining. The Lakers are watching closely for similar opportunities. National insider Jovan Buha weighed in on the Lakers' position in the Durant sweepstakes. "I think Boston took the best advantage of it in recent memory, with Drew Holiday becoming available because of the Damian Lillard trade and that situation. So I think for the Lakers, I believe in general and being more proactive than reactive with the summer transactions. And I think the Lakers have honestly been a bit too reactive to the point of almost being a bit passive, and they have not been as proactive as they should have been the last couple. I would even contend 3 summers. The Lakers might not land Durant directly, but they could benefit from Phoenix's roster shakeup. If the Suns begin unloading talent, Los Angeles could scoop up role players like Royce O'Neal or Nick Richards."
Black and White Sports Reporters. Well, we got a couple of things, both involving Caitlin Clark and her return to the Indiana Fever, starting to make the ticket prices go up, and up for her anticipated return.
Caitlin Clark's return to the Indiana Fever isn't just a headline, it's a seismic moment for the entire WNBA. Her presence alone has turned regular season games into can't-miss spectacles, and even the hint of her reappearance sent ripple effects across the league. From skyrocketing ticket prices to shifting MVP odds, the Caitlin Clark effect is real, and it's rewriting the rules of engagement for women's basketball. Let's start with the numbers, because they're impossible to ignore. When word got out that Clark was nearing a return from her quad injury, ticket prices for Indiana Fever games exploded. We're not talking minor bumps. Some prices jumped more than 366%. A ticket that once sold for $86.25 was now going for $140.30. And in the case of high-stakes matchups like the one against the Chicago Sky, featuring rival Angel Reese, prices soared from $57.50 to nearly $268. Fans weren't just buying tickets, they were rearranging vacations, rebooking flights, and doing whatever it took to witness her comeback live.
The most expensive ticket in Section 120 for Friday's contest against the Sun cost $86.25. When Indiana hosts the Sun June 17th, a ticket in the same section will cost $140.30, a 62.7% increase.
This isn't just hype, it's pure economic impact. Caitlin Clark has become the engine driving WNBA revenue, and her influence doesn't stop at the ticket booth. Jersey sales, social media engagement, and national TV viewership have all surged during her rookie season. Even preseason games became must-watch events, like when a matchup against Brazil's national team drew over 1.2 million views. That's the kind of attention leagues dream about. But while Clark's return has fans electrified, it also comes with weighty expectations. The MVP race, already fierce, is now an all-out war. Nafisa Collier may be leading in stats, averaging 26.3 points and 8.3 rebounds on 51% shooting.
Nafisa Collier is on a 7-0 Minnesota Lynx team and is averaging 26.3 points and 8.3 rebounds per game, and she's doing it on 51% from the field and 45% from three.
But Clark's impact goes beyond numbers. She's averaging 19 points and leading the league with 9.3 assists per game, all while drawing double teams and heavy defensive focus every night. Even during her absence, her name never dropped from the MVP conversation. That's how you know you're different.
WNBA rumors suggest Caitlin Clark will be among the first stars making $1 million annually, the most notable of which is, y'all already know who, the needle mover, Caitlin Clark.
So in 2024, she averaged 16.5 points per game, 4 assists, 5.5 rebounds. She shot 37% from the field and 31.8% from three. Now, if you look at her preseason in 2025, she only played 2 games.
When Caitlin Clark was sidelined, the Fever didn't just lose a scorer, they lost their identity. The team looked flat, disorganized, and uninspired. Suddenly, it was clear just how much Clark orchestrates every element of their game. She energizes the offense, commands the tempo, and lifts her teammates' play. Without her, Indiana became just another team. With her, they're a movement. Even the league couldn't ignore the gap. Commentators, analysts, and MVP voters, many of whom tend to overlook rookies, started openly admitting her value. One reporter even stated that Clark's absence exposed the Fever. And that wasn't said in critique, it was said in awe. Because in today's WNBA, no player carries as much influence as Caitlin Clark. Her return not only reignites Indiana's playoff hopes, but redefines the MVP debate. It's no longer just about stats. It's about narrative, presence, and impact. A'ja Wilson, the reigning MVP, is still putting up solid numbers with 23 points and 10.5 rebounds per game.
A'ja Wilson is not really good is wrong. The Las Vegas Aces are 4-2 on the season. She is averaging 23, 10.5 rebounds, 4.2 assists, and a lot of steals on 47% from the field and 26% from three.
But fans and analysts alike are starting to notice inconsistencies, especially against weaker teams. The difference? Clark's every game, even the preseason, becomes a headline. Let's talk cultural influence. Clark is not just a baller, she's a brand, a symbol, and a role model. She's filling arenas, trending on social media, and sparking viral moments. She's the first rookie in league history to turn every game into a national event. Families show up, celebrities take courtside seats, local economies get a boost. That's the Caitlin Clark effect. And then there's the merch. Fever jerseys, Iowa throwbacks, and number 22 shirts are flying off shelves. Everywhere you look, fans are repping her name. Whether it's little girls idolizing her skill or grown fans admiring her poise, Caitlin Clark has become a cultural force, one that bridges generations and genders, one that brings people together through sport.
It is undeniable that Caitlin Clark is the engine.
Caitlin Clark effect, there has been so much of an influx in attendance, in jersey sales, and viewership, all the things.
That's about star power, narrative, and likability.
Caitlin Clark comes into the WNBA, goes through college. She has panache. She has style.
She's my role model. I really look up to her.
Why do you like Caitlin?
And she's so good at basketball.
She hasn't done it with arrogance or entitlement. Despite being targeted on the court, criticized in the media, and overlooked for Team USA, Clark has remained composed. She hasn't clapped back. She hasn't whined. She just shows up, plays her game, and lets the results speak. That kind of resilience, especially in a rookie, is rare. And now she's back with something to prove. If the Fever go on a run with her in the lineup, there won't be a single valid argument against her MVP case. She's already drawn comparisons to NBA legends for her court vision and shooting range. She's pulling defenders to half court, dropping dimes that break the internet, and making teammates better just by being on the floor.
Shit out of it.
Of course she was.
Right, so she was shooting the shit out of it.
She's the face of the league.
Agreed.
Just have nothing but great things to say about who she is as a person. Just so welcoming and so warm as an individual that she can have a conversation with anybody. She's cut from the same cloth as me in that regard. You know, us Midwesterners, we tend to just, accept everybody with open arms. She was so kind to my family and everyone in the suite when she came to KC. So huge fans of Caitlin Clark.
Statistically, she's more than solid, but it's the intangibles, the leadership, the flair, the presence that make her irreplaceable. Her 2024 numbers include 16.5 points, 5.5 rebounds, and 4 assists per game. But in the 2025 preseason, she upped the ante, averaging 14.5 points, 6 assists, and 6 rebounds in just 21 minutes, while shooting 52.5% from the field and a scorching 50% from 3. That's not just good, that's elite.
So in 2024, she averaged 16.5 points per game, 4 assists, 5.5 rebounds. She shot 37% from the field and 31.8% from 3. Now, if you look at her preseason in 2025, she only played 2 games in this preseason, and one was against that Brazilian national team. She played 21 minutes. She averaged 14.5 points, 6 assists, 6 rebounds. She shot 52.5% from the field and 50% from three-point range.
The media can't get enough. ESPN tracks her MVP odds. Betting sites list her just behind Collier. News outlets scramble to cover every update, injury, and comeback. And when she plays, viewership spikes. Everyone watches. Because Clark doesn't just play basketball, she commands the moment. Off the court, she's just as impactful. Her kindness toward fans, her humility in interviews, and her Midwestern charm have made her universally likable. Coaches respect her, teammates love her, opponents fear her. She's cut from a different cloth, one that combines elite athleticism with character and charisma.
Caitlin Clark is a rising star in women's basketball. She's pulling in crazy viewership numbers. We're talking about a preseason game against the Brazil national team, drawing 1.2 million views.
Caitlin Clark is the needle mover.
She is the needle mover.
She is the franchise player.
And she was the MVP. She is the main draw.
She wasn't the one who was full sprinting down the court.
She's my role model. I really look up to her.
Why do you like Caitlin?
And she's so good at basketball.
Because she's that awesome person, and she has like a lot of aura, so like.
Clark is forcing the WNBA to evolve. Her rise has triggered conversations around equity, representation, and fairness. Why is she scrutinized more than others? Why are her accomplishments sometimes downplayed? These are tough questions, but Clark's success is pushing them into the spotlight. And that's a good thing. She's not just playing the game. She's changing the game. She's elevating the league, challenging norms, and giving the next generation someone to aspire to. Young athletes, girls and boys, now have a real icon who embodies hard work, grit, and grace. Clark's return isn't just exciting, it's a cultural moment. Ticket prices prove her value. MVP odds validate her influence, and the electric atmosphere every time she steps on the floor tells you everything you need to know. She's the face of the league, she's the franchise, and she's only just getting started. And the fever surrounding her isn't dying down anytime soon. In fact, it's only getting hotter. So as Clark takes her next steps on this historic journey, one thing is clear. She's not just back. She's back with purpose. And the entire basketball world is watching. If you're as hyped for Caitlin Clark's return as we are, hit that like button, drop your thoughts in the comment, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Let's make sure she hears us loud and clear.
I'm going to show you what can happen in the event that you're just a tiny bit off, okay?
So you're going to intentionally miss?
Of course. Goes like this.
The most watched WNBA moment this month? It's not even from a game. Caitlin Clark just teamed up with Dude Perfect, and the fallout is shaking the league. Caitlin Clark just made WNBA history without even stepping on the court. While sidelined with a quad injury, she managed to draw millions of new fans, crush social media, and send a brutally clear message to the league, its players, and its critics. She is the WNBA. The timing of her latest viral moment couldn't be more symbolic and more damaging to the league's narrative.
Data blindfold.
Blindfolded. Let's go. Just like GameBridge can assist you with your savings, I'm here to assist the dudes with making shots.
We appreciate it, Caitlin. Every shot you make is one less that I have to do.
You climb the mountain
The latest proof? Her collaboration with YouTube titans Dude Perfect. Dude Perfect is more than a YouTube channel, it's sports content royalty. With over 60 million subscribers and 18 billion views, they're mainstream giants.